Hey folks, coming at you with a little breakdown of the latest last Epoch update. So let's jump into it. To start, we have some more details on the modifiers. They have added favor, which is really nice. A lot of COF players were looking for that. These are all the modifiers that you're going to be getting. Reputation is the biggest one at 125% increase. This probably means that you will be hitting max rank a little bit earlier than level 100 now, probably like level 96 or 97, I would guess. Maybe slightly sooner. I'd have to do the math on that. All the XP information is in Tunk Labs if you're curious. This is mathable if you want. But yeah, anyway, these modifiers will be available to those on Cycle and Legacy. So I know some people were asking about that. There you go. Another thing to note is that this probably will be going away after this date. So we'll see what EHG decides to do with that going forward. This could be maybe an experiment for them to see how players engage with these different rates and then use that to determine future changes. Who knows? Anyway, so we have some more details on the event. Before we just heard it was skeletons. Now we get a little bit more details. What it looks like is there will be higher density, which is really cool. What this basically will end up meaning is that there's extra groups of monsters with some rares, some magic monsters and stuff like that. And that probably means that your rate of XP and loot and all that stuff is probably going to be higher because of the density being higher. So if your build is fairly strong and you can kill stuff fairly quickly, this should mean that you get more stuff indirectly, which is pretty cool. I like that. There's also a little bit of detail here about getting a reward. We don't know exactly what the reward is yet, but from the Reddit post, it seems to be like it might be a cosmetic. So you can see here there's a question, no cosmetic rewards to earn, question mark. We have an answer from EHG, reward will be granted. They're just quoting that bit of the thread. So that seems to me like it's hinting at a potential cosmetic reward. So definitely stay tuned. That'd be pretty cool if that's what we end up getting. Moving on, we have, yeah, so these are the details about the event. More monsters, really cool. Loot lizards. So the loot lizard is another new thing. It seems like they have different types depending on the lizard. Some of them will have different items. It doesn't seem to say much. It says just dropped items. It doesn't say what type of items, unless overburdened is the name. I don't think so. So yeah, it seems like it's kind of like the caches that you find in Echoes, where it has different types of loot, but we'll see what that ends up being. It does say that there's 5 different types, so yeah, we'll have to see what that ends up being. We have some more details on the shrines, some pretty cool stuff here. I'm guessing that this might end up playing into future changes. There's a lot of potential here. So the shrines can give you skills being automatically casted, and they do use your skill trees. So I could see this being used in mechanics in the future. Maybe some sort of unique item like some other ARPGs have, where you're using the shrine buffs periodically, even if you don't get the shrine directly. So that would be really cool. Some new buff shrines, such as raining meteors down and stuff like that. DR shrine, so that's pretty cool. I hope that there's more stuff on this in the future beyond just like a very short-term thing. Some cool ways to play around that. Anyway, we also have the stash tab priority. This is probably the big one, I think, for a lot of people. This is very exciting. So it's kind of like loot filters, except a little bit different. You can see what the UI looks like here. So you can configure the tab with the rules that you want, and then whatever tab you have open, if you shift right click or whatever to move the items into the currently visible tab, it will instead try to find a tab with a rule first and then pop it into that tab if it finds one. So yeah, this is going to be really cool. A lot of stuff that you could do with that. It's not quite as granular as the loot filters. You can see here there's no like affix type. There was some talk about performance issues in the Reddit thread, so maybe we could see more customization in the future. But for now, this is what you have. You can also do keys, which previously you couldn't do with the loot filter, so that's pretty cool. I like that. I think one thing that might end up being a neat strategy for this would be to have some semi-sorted dump tabs. So you can have like all your different dump tabs as you're running through, just dropping them in. And then you can further filter them from those semi-sorted loot manually later or something like that. We'll see. I'm pretty lazy. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing, other than the things that you can be more specific on, like the LP uniques. But yeah, we'll see. A lot of cool stuff from that. Then we have Bazaar improvements. A lot of cool stuff here. You can actually list items from the stash now while you're in the Bazaar, which is pretty cool. And you have affix filtering. And another thing that's really cool here is you actually have the specific role filtering, which previously you couldn't really do. And I'm hoping that this is a bit of foreshadowing for loot filter upgrades, because you can see here at least 60% role. It would be very nice if we had this for loot filters, like for example, idols that only have one tier. If you could search for only high roll idols, that would be so nice. But yeah, here's hoping that that's a bit of a teaser for what's to come. But yeah, really cool stuff. Then we have the poll results. So this one was a little bit interesting. If you saw some of the comments, it seemed very negative on a reset, and the results are coming in with most players being in favor of a reset. And you can see here some of the reasons why people were not in favor. Yeah, you can check that out if you're interested in seeing some of those results. But yeah, it does sound like there is going to be a cycle reset that will happen. We have some more information here on the Steam Deck updates and closing. And it doesn't really talk much in here about the dungeons, but there is a little bit of context from the Reddit thread. I will link this in the description too, as the devs have been answering some questions. But anyway, with this patch, removing some of the blockers as well as reducing the level sizes. There will be some more improvements in 1.2. So for now, this seems like a big quality of life win for dungeons. So yeah, looking forward to that. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.